Real quickly before I jump into the video, I'll let you guys know about something we're doing over on my Twitter. We're doing a little giveaway. Myself and Elgato Gaming partnered up a couple of months back, but we are now doing our first little giveaway here of an Elgato HD60S capture card device for those of you guys that may be interested. If you guys are just starting to get into content creation, or you guys are maybe already in it and you want to have the best possible quality, well, Elgato is definitely the company to go to for that. So we're doing a little giveaway of an Elgato HD60S over on my Twitter. All you gotta do is go over to that link in the description below, follow the guidelines on the tweet. There's really not all that much to it. It's pretty straightforward and simple. And then after that, well, you're entered in for a chance to win. So best of luck to anybody that does want to actually go for it. But that said, let's jump right back into the regularly scheduled content. So if you'd have told me this morning we would get everything that we did get today in Call of Duty World War II, I would have called you crazy, because there's nothing scheduled right now in terms of a new event, anything major in terms of a playlist update or an actual title update. But we ended up getting a playlist update, a little hotfix to the game in Call of Duty World War II today, to which there was a lot of goodies and a lot of surprises hidden in what seemingly was a routine daily update that, again, in my books, probably was just going to round out a new daily order for the weapons that we end up having on rotation. But I was dead wrong, and so today we're going to be taking a look at everything that actually changed within this little surprise update that Sledgehammer threw our way in Call of Duty World War II. We're going to be breaking down everything here because there was actually a decent bit of stuff and some relatively big things at that. So we do have the blog update. Presumably by the time this goes live, it is probably out there right now. We'll be recapping that tomorrow if there is anything substantial outside of what we had given to us today. That's something we'll talk about that in a little bit and give you guys all you need to know. But for the sake of just covering this update that happened, let's jump right into it. So the first thing that we end up getting, of course, was what I previously thought was going to be that of what was going to be changed, that being a new daily weapon order. So today, there's the Lewis English Oak 2 Heroic variant for 15 multi-kills with LMGs. Now this one isn't as simple as just straight up kills with a weapon classification. This one might take you a little bit more time compared to others, but it still is one that is relatively easier on the grand scale of things compared to, say, pistol headshots. Something that I don't ever use pistols. I don't really aim that high with pistols because I need to get as many shots to connect as possible, but this one you should be able to get out of the way in maybe 30 minutes to an hour of playtime. That's about what it took me, but overall the weapon itself looks pretty nice. I definitely like the heroic aspect of it, that it is a 15% bonus XP, and that is always nice. So that's the daily weapon order here at this one, but on top of that, we actually got a brand new special order as well, something that may have actually been what was supposed to be today, but went live a little earlier, so therefore kind of made a little brouhaha in the community, that being the new special order for 100 multiplayer matches completed that'll grant you a 2x heroic weapon bribe. So you'll get 2 heroic weapons guaranteed off the bat for this if you end up completing 100 matches. Now if you guys remember a couple of days ago, I can't remember if it was actually even just yesterday, but we ended up seeing a little bit of a refresh where it was an epic uniform bribe in place of this 2x heroic bribe. So whether or not it was scheduled wrong and they corrected it immediately thereafter, because it was only live for about 5 to 10 minutes, regardless of what ended up happening, the heroic weapon bribes are back now within this new special order, so therefore you might want to activate them while you still have the chance. But outside of those small little refreshes that, again, may have actually been routine, let's talk about some other things, because in terms of game modes, well, there's a little bit of a change up for what we know of in Call of Duty World War II. If you go in and jump into the featured tab right now, you'll see that there is a brand new playlist that has double XP in it for what I would imagine just to be this weekend. I'm not entirely sure, but it makes sense if it was a sort of weekend warfare type of game mode, or at least the double XP on it. And again, as of this going live, that might actually even be clarified in the blog update a little bit further, but we end up seeing the Throwback playlist in Call of Duty World War II. Now, what this is your standard sort of mosh pit of all kinds of different matches, and it really is just essentially everything in the regular game, but you also have one bonus addition of being able to use Throwback perks. Now, for those of you guys that have no idea what this is, we ended up actually seeing a leak a couple of months back showcasing that we'd end up getting Throwback basic trainings, and well, they're here now finally, and I'm kind of surprised that these actually didn't get data mined as the most recent update, and nobody really found these just yet, because they were in the game files, because this was only a hotfix. We didn't require an actual real update to place these in, but regardless, I digress. We now have the ability to use Danger Close, Commando Pro, Double Tap, Martyrdom, Stun ×3, Stopping Power, and Juggernaut, only in this Throwback playlist. So that's something that, again, it is the regular game, but if you want to throw it back to a little bit of the classic Call of Duty days, you can end up using some of these extra basic trainings in place of the basic trainings already in the regular game modes. So you will come across people that are just playing it for the double XP that have no idea what this actually is, and then you can end up using, say, stopping power and getting extra damage into them. Or if you want to just, say, go and run a hardpoint game and use a ton of frag grenades, you can use danger close because the bonus gives you 3 times frags. So there's all kinds of stuff here that this is just a little for fun playlist, but it's definitely a lot of fun at that. It's a cool little addition that, again, I had no idea was going to be coming. I am just as surprised as the next guy, but it's definitely one that I'm going to be playing a lot this weekend. The next change up that we have that once again was completely unexpected. We didn't really have any sort of lead up to this in any sort of posting from Sledgehammer on Reddit, in the blog post, though there was a little bit of the blog post talking about why this would happen. They never really gave any indication as to when it would happen, but that being Domination 75. The final resting place for Domination between 50 and 100 is now set upon and now in the game itself. If you go in and play any game of Domination now, every single kill you'll get, instead of 50 points per kill, you'll end up getting 75 points per kill. Now, we did of course see Domination XL and a little bit of time beforehand in the beta having a Domination 100, but for the reasoning that Sledgehammer has detailed beforehand, it was moved down to 50, and then with the reception that the community had wanting it up higher, they instead decided on 75 as well. So whether or not you actually agree upon the reasoning as to why they changed it or not, Domination 75 is now the stable regular rotation and game settings for the game mode in Call of Duty World War II, and it is live right now that you can go check out for yourself. It does play very well, I think. I do actually see where they're coming from in this kind of being a little bit of a compromise between actually wanting streaks spammed and not having any streaks at all. It played well. Of course, you still have Blitzkrieg, which can counter, again, a little bit of what you may actually want in terms of streaks. That's always a good thing too, but Domination 75 is, of course, now live and in a very surprising manner. I was not expecting this to come just like that, but sure enough, here it is. The next thing that changed was something that I'm sure a lot of people are gonna be happy with, this being a nerf to Requisitions. Now, it's a half nerf, we'll say, because it does not nerf Requisitions across the board. A lot of the lower tier streaks are still relatively the same, but in the grand scheme of things, once again, if you're, say, playing a match and you have the potential to win, it's a close game, but then somebody with Requisitions ends up getting paratroopers, a carpet bombing, and a ball turret gunner, you're probably gonna care a little bit more than that of if they end up getting a fighter pilot or a flamethrower. So those sorts of things, again, the lower tier streaks did not get really adjusted by this. You really start to notice it around the emergency airdrop. So previously, the emergency airdrop was 1,800 points. It is now 2,400 with Requisitions. Paratroopers were 2,400, now being 3,300. The carpet bombing run was 2,850. That is now 3,850. And the ball turret gunner was 3,600 with 4,800 as well. I can't exactly remember off the top of my head what the fire bombing run was beforehand, but that's now actually 2,700 as well, just to throw that in there. So again, the higher tier streaks are the ones that ended up getting it changed within this Requisitions nerf. So it's not across the board, but it definitely is a very much so needed improvement. So personally, I haven't run into many people running, or at least getting these ball turret gunners and the carpet bombing runs, the paratroopers, that kind of stuff, all that much in game thus far. And I'm gonna assume that that's because of this nerf, so I'm totally cool with that. If this is something that negates a little bit of that issue with Requisitions, I'm totally cool with that. I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below on this one in particular as well, because it definitely is a touchy subject. It is a nice way that players that maybe won't be skilled enough to get those streaks or string together as many kills to get them, that's definitely nice they can be able to experience some of these streaks, but there definitely is a fine line between being something that rewards players that actually do need the reward and rewarding players that don't. So it's a definitely interesting topic of discussion. I'd love to get your thoughts down in the comment section down below on it, but to keep things rolling a little bit and to round out this little bit of an update video, the next two things that we have were really just general fixes, fixing bugs and a little bit of issues right now in the game itself. So along with that, we see firstly the incendiary shotgun exploit being patched up a little bit as well. Personally, I didn't run into this. I heard a little bit of chatter about it, but I didn't really know the exact extent of it or really how to do it. So forgive me if this is a little bit of a vague description of it, but apparently there was an exploit with the fire rates of incendiary shells in shotgun shotguns, to which was almost a jitter mod at that point where players could have a much higher fire rate on their shotgun with incendiary shells than that of what they were normally supposed to. So if that's the case, well, that's firstly a bad thing, of course, but it is nice that it has been patched up. It's now been fixed, or at least to everyone's knowledge, it has been fixed up enough to the sense where it's not an issue anymore. And the final thing that we're going to be talking about here today in terms of general updates and fixes for that, this update ended up fixing the negative unlock tokens glitch that people have been having. Now, again, I didn't run into this personally, but I did see people tweeting me screenshots of their unlocks and everything in which they actually did have negative unlock tokens. So that would restrict you from actually unlocking anything new, and that was kind of problematic, obviously. You'd end up not being able to do anything with your class setups, essentially. And so this was nice that it was fixed out. It's kind of strange that it happened in the first place, but I mean, hey, it's fixed up now, so it's in the past, so we can move on past that. But that said, that's where we're gonna wrap it up. That is essentially everything that we had broken down here out of this newest update today. Once again, I wasn't expecting anything in particular, but this was a lot more than even I anticipated in the sense of a general playlist update. There was a lot added in, so love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below on all of this. Of course, is there anything in particular you like more than something else? Are you guys excited to play around a little bit with the Throwback playlist and the Throwback basic trainings? Are you guys excited about Domination 75? Whatever it may be, feel free to let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. No right or wrong answer. I, of course, just want to get your thoughts on everything, because this was a lot more than I expected, and probably a lot more than you expected. So, that said, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure to drop a like down below. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding Call of Duty World War II, anything in particular regarding updates, news, best class setups, tips, tricks, information, all that good stuff we got you covered here on the channel. And Black Ops 4 is right around the corner as well, so if any of that interests you, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing regarding any of it. And also, if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, that's the best place to get connected with me outside of YouTube. Practically live on Twitter, so if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, link is down there in the description below. And finally, if you guys want to follow me over on Instagram as well, trying to get more active over there also, so that link is in the description below too. But all that said and out of the way, hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care, and peace.